Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on this webinar. My name is Andrew Townsend. I'm with eLearning Brothers. Today, we're going to be talking about games and gamification and giving you demos of two different products that can bring that to life. This webinar will be recorded, and we will get a copy of the recording sent out to all registrants after the webinar, so you can view this afterwards. We will also post it on the eLearning Brothers website so that you can view it anytime there. We have to talk to us about games and gamification our friends at the Game Agency, Stephen Baer, Jamie McDonald, Kirsten Hoffman, and Brittany Michaels with us today. So Brittany will be in the questions panel answering your questions, so feel free to use that questions panel anytime you may need it if you have questions about any of the topics that are discussed. And I'll try to bring up some of these questions to our presenters here with us today that will have, they'll give us some great feedback, great information there. Also, just so you know, one of the things we like to do after the webinar is try to follow up as soon as possible. Sometimes it's just to get feedback. Most of the time we want to touch base on the webinar topic and make sure that you have the clarification that you need after the fact. All right, so let's get started. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn the time over to you, Stephen.
Thanks for the introduction, Andrew, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. For more than a decade, the Game Agency has been creating custom games and gamified platforms. Our clients come from multiple industries, including healthcare, finance, technology, education, and many more. As Andrew mentioned, today's webinar, we're going to showcase examples of games and gamifications in the corporate training space. Games and gamification are two words that often get interchanged, but have two very different meanings. So let me just focus on that for a minute. Games are playable, and they often include storylines or characters, challenges, feedback, rewards, really to convey and reinforce your learning content. While gamification, on the other hand, uses game mechanics like points and badges and levels and leaderboards and feedback and rewards, but applies them to non-gaming context to encourage participation and engagement and loyalty. The difference between the two might seem slight, but the outcomes provide totally different results. Each approach has its benefits, but before implementing either option, you need to define what you want to get out of that experience. Today, we're going to showcase two different platforms, the Training Arcade and Motivate Cloud. So the Training Arcade is an authoring tool that allows anyone to create training and reinforcement games in minutes. It's easy to use, it's fun to play, and it's extremely rich with analytics. Motivate Cloud is a gamified, socialized, reward-based learning platform. It includes all the basics of a typical LMS, but more than those typical LMSs. It keeps employees engaged with earning coins, unlocking badges, leveling up, climbing the leaderboard, and competing ultimately to showcase what you know. Both of these platforms have been designed to turn corporate training into an active learning experience. And we have several success stories that showcase this happening really every day. Without further ado, I'm going to pass the presentation over to Jamie McDonald. We'll start with the first one, the Training Arcade, and walk you through that platform.
Hey guys, thanks again for joining. I'm Jamie McDonald with the Game Agency, and I'm here to talk about the Training Arcade. So the arcade is a library of really fun and highly engaging games that can be very quickly customized with your training content. They're really meant to be a complement to what you're currently doing in the training space as a way to provide your learners with a practice playground. Give them the opportunity to take the learning that they just spent time learning through one of your courses and actually put it to the test, playing, having a great time, and really making the content stick. And the best part for you as the trainers is that you can really use all the great rich data on the back end to help you really measure the effectiveness of your training. The Game Agency, or the Training Arcade, excuse me, was launched about 1.5 years ago. Some of the games were launched then, but the tool that Stephen mentioned before just actually came out in October. So it's really a back-end DIY tool that lets you take your content and stick it into the back end of the games and publish out your games within minutes. We're really excited to announce that just a few weeks ago, the training industry recognized the Training Arcade as a top 20 authoring tool of 2018. And we're super proud because that has only been around for a few months now. So the topics that many of our customers are using the games for really range from anything from new employee onboarding to leadership development, sales training, obviously, product development, software, systems and processes, even compliance and safety. They're using it in a variety of different learning environments, whether it's an instructor-led or classroom setting, even large sales meetings. We've worked with clients who've used them in national sales meetings from 200 employees all the way up to 5,000. So it can work really great in a large group environment as well. And then of course with virtual learning, so individual and groups. All the games are web-based, so they plug really nicely into your learning courses. If you're using Captivate or Lector or any of the other e-learning authoring tools, you can just simply embed them as a web object. The games are also SCORM compliant, so if you want to plug them into your LMS, there can be an integration so that your SCORM data can be passed through very seamlessly. And anyone out there who's interested, we're also XAPI ready now, so we're excited to share that new announcement. With the license, so it's essentially a subscription that you're getting to the Training Arcade should you decide to have this. And you can purchase one game or multiple. You're getting the games, you're getting the back-end game authoring tool, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to demo that for you. You're also getting rich analytics, which I'll walk you through, and you're getting a leaderboard, which is a nice function to have, especially in a live environment. You can build an unlimited amount of games and use it for an unlimited amount of your employees. So what I think I'll do now is I will actually show you 4 of the games that are in the arcade today and talk to you about some of the other ones that are coming. So what you're looking at right now is the back end of our arcade platform. I'm going to show you that second. I think what I'll do first is I'll start off with the front end. So the front end are the games, and I'm just going to go through this very fast because I know we have a lot to cover. The first game is Jump. This is a game that we actually built out as a custom game solution for one of our clients a couple years ago. They used it initially for onboarding new employees, and the outcome was fantastic, so they decided to use it for sales training as well. Since then, we've showed it to a number of other clients, and they used it, and we decided, well, you know what, we own the code, so why not offer this game up to other clients? And it really became the first game in the launch of our Training Arcade. The Jump game is a really fun and highly engaging game. The idea is that you're answering questions along the way while you're playing the game. It's really meant for reinforcement of content you would have just learned through one of your learning courses. So you're answering questions related to that content. The idea, I'll just quickly show you. I'll play the game for you, and I apologize if there's any lags. This is just a quick tutorial. So here I am, I'm the bouncing ball. My goal is to land on a platform with a question mark, and when I do, you'll see the learning content will be served up just like this. So in this particular case, what new technologies are likely to have a significant impact on learning? Select all that apply. In this case, I'm going to select these 3. There are 3 different question types you can use to build the game. There's your standard multiple choice, there's multiple select, and then, and that's where you can actually answer more than one question or answer. And then there's also image match. So the idea, again, is just to have fun, get as many points as you can, and keep going. The more questions you get right, the more lives you have, and the game can continuously go on. So it's kind of like an endless jumper game. The next game I'm going to show you is what we're calling Match. This is actually a game that's based on the game mechanic Candy Crush or Bejeweled. So for anybody who's ever played those, or you probably know someone who has, it's a really fun and engaging game. The difference between this game and Jump is that we've actually created it so that some of the questions are asked before gameplay, and depending on how well you answer those questions, that actually helps you with power-ups and boosts so that it helps you clear the board faster. The ultimate goal, of course, is to reinforce the learning content just like what we used in Jump. So this is just a quick tutorial again, and I'll show you how this works. Here's my first question: what company cultures appeal to the rise of the millennial workforce? This one happens to be a multiple select, so I'm going to select them all. You'll see I just earned my first power up there. Next one is, what is an ideal length for a micro video? I just earned my second power up. And if I don't get the answer right, it just won't give me the boost. So I'll answer this third one and I just want to get to the game board so you can see how that works. And the last one is, what's the most effective way for learners to retain information? And of course, it's practicing. So I've just earned my 4 boosts, and it's going to show you now, great, here's what you got, tap anywhere to continue. And when the board opens, your goal, just like in Candy Crush or any of those others, is to make matches. And at any point you can't find a match, you could use one of your power-ups like this, and it'll bust up the screen. You'll also see that question bubbles come up, and if you can make a match with 3 tiles that match the one that's hiding under the question bubble, you'll get another one. You can put, as I didn't mention earlier, but in the Jump game, you can put an unlimited amount of questions into your game. Most people use somewhere between 10 and 25, but you certainly could add as many as you want. In the Match game, there are 10 levels. You don't have to use them all, but you can use up to 10 levels. And you'll see here that I'm about to make a match, which is going to cause another question bubble to come up. So I want to move on to the next game. which is Scramble. So Scramble is kind of like Wheel of Fortune without the wheel. It's essentially a word Scramble game where you can create two different question types. One looks like this, which is a, kind of a fill in the blank. Whoops, where did my screen go? Sorry, guys. Which is a fill in the blank where you're unscrambling a whole sentence. So I'll just quickly show you how that works. So providing a practice playground is vital to the learning process because, and the answer here is the most effective way for learners to retain information is to practice. And when I think I have it right, I can click submit and then I'll say, hey, great. You'll see down here, there's actually some hints. So if you're having trouble answering the question, you can use one of your hints, and the more questions you get correct, the more hints that you earn. This is just an example of the other kind of question you can ask, which is really just a fill in the blank and unscramble the words. So training what can have a significant positive impact on learning? Of course, the answer here is games, training games. So that's how that game works. This is a really good example of a game that can be used for both individual and group learning. The next one I'm going to show you is photo recall. Recall is really a game that's all about recalling what you saw. So either you look at an image or a video, and after a short period of time, it'll disappear. This one happens to be on healthcare violations in a professional kitchen, but I'll just show you how that works. So here's your first question. You'll see that this is a grease fire. As soon as you're ready to answer some questions, you click on ready, and the sooner you do it, the more points that you get. So the first question served here is, what's the correct way to put out a grease fire? The answer happens to be turn off the heat source and cover the flames. Great job, I did great. Next question, and you can go on. So you can load in as many different images or videos as you want. You can ask as many different questions relating to that as you want. In this particular image here, you see there's some serious health violations going on. The fridge is open, it's a mess. You click ready and you start answering questions. What violations did you see in this picture? Crack in the wall, food contamination, and so forth. So those are the 4 games that are currently available in the arcade. What I want to talk to you about now is that we actually are launching a 5th game this week, which is called Trivia. I'm really excited because you're the first group to hear about it. Trivia is really a game that's going to help you take your quizzes and assessments and bring them to a completely new level. It's going to be fun and engaging. There are different question types you can ask. There are points and leaderboards, and even the ability to have a kind of a multiplayer competition. So we can share more on that at another time. And then I wanted to just briefly mention that we have 2 more games coming down in the next 2 months. One is Scenarios. Scenarios is really a virtual learning where you're kind of having a conversation with a virtual instructor where she or he is taking you through a variety of real situations that you may encounter at work, and you have to make decisions based on that. And depending on your answers, you'll be provided either positive or negative feedback to help you learn what the best responses really would be. And the last game is Grid. So Grid is kind of a game that takes into account multi-level layers of thinking. You've got columns and rows, and the idea is that you need to place your content in the appropriate location. So those are the 7 games I wanted to talk about, but what I really want to get to is showing you how the Backend Builder works. I'm going to actually build out a game for you, and I'm going to show you the analytics of the games. So let's just pretend that you have a subscription to the Training Arcade, and you have logged in as the admin who's going to be the game builder. This would kind of be your playground here. And if you go here, you'll see that these are all the games that you may have built. And then you can go up to analytics and you can look at the analytics for each individual game, depending on what you want to look at. But if you want to build a game, you simply click on New Game. And if you have a license to the 4 games that are available currently, you could just click on whichever game you're looking to build. So let's just say today I'm going to build a jump game. And you'll see that there's 2 parts to building a game. And by the way, this does not take any programming skills. It's extremely intuitive, and anyone can do it within minutes. Obviously, you'd want to have your questions created in advance, which I actually did. So I'm going to have my little cheat sheet here as I build these out for you. So you first build out what you want the game to look like, and then you start adding in the questions. So in this case, I'm just going to call this March 6th webinar, and you'll see that it automatically populates into my URL. And if at any point you want to see how the game's coming as you're building it, you can just simply copy and paste this link into a new browser. Then you have things like game settings. How many seconds do you want to give the learner to answer each question? If you think every question needs the same, great. Maybe you don't need 60. Maybe it's 45 seconds or another one. You can also decide if you want to require a pass-fail or not. So let's say you do, and you say they have to get at least 90% right. You also can choose to add a leaderboard on the game over screen or not. So what that's really great for is if you're learning, whether you're in a live environment or on your own, and your game is over, you can actually see how you ranked compared to everybody else. So you can click yes there. You have the option of randomizing questions or not. So in a case where you may want questions to be asked in a particular order, you could just leave that unchecked. Otherwise, they'll be randomized. You also have the option of asking for registration on the screen before the game begins. And if you want that, you could do, ask for things like first name, last name, email, employee ID. If your learners are accessing this through a single sign-on through the LMS, then this is not necessarily something that you need. The next thing you have the option for is, let me just move this over here, it's in my way. Whoops. Is picking a theme for the background of your game. So you have, for the jump game, there's 3 different options. There's a cityscape theme where you've got a guy in a tie and he's jumping up and up. You have an origami theme, and then you also have a pattern theme. For the purpose of this game, I'm gonna make it the cityscape. And then you also have the option of putting some music in the background. So you can either choose no track, or you can actually listen to previews of each track and decide which one sounds great for you. For now, I'm just gonna leave it at no track. Then you get down to the splash screen. So the splash screen is the first screen that somebody sees when they open up the game. This opening screen can be completely customized for you. So you can choose to add a company logo, you can retitle it. So let's just say I'm gonna call this again, March 6th webinar. Or you can even load in a new image that would completely replace this image. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. The last thing I'm going to show you on the screen is that you have a optional page before the instructions that you can add in some special messaging. So maybe it's something like, get ready to have fun playing, I don't know, jump. Or it can be something related to the content that they just learned. And then you click OK, and then all you do there is you then click Save. So your the format of your game has now been created, and the next part is to add in your questions. So adding in your questions is really simple. You simply click on Add Question. The first one I'm going to do is going to be a multi-select, so the person can answer more than one selection. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to associate an image with that. Whoops, where's mine? Here we go. So I'm going to pick this as my first image, and my question is going to be entered in right here. So the question is, oh, am I not sharing? Now am I sharing? Okay, sorry about that. My first question is, the training arcade provides, and maybe I think that, in this particular case, they need a little bit more time, so I'm going to change it there. And I'm going to say, my first answer is a practice playground. My next one is robust analytics. I'm going to add in another one. I think they need another one, and I'm going to say fun. And because this was a multiple select, all of these are correct, so I just simply click on that. Now I can also add in some feedback if I want, so I can say something like great job, or I could say, you missed one, or you can give them a hint. You can also do a trainer reinforcement point if there's something else that you want to add about that. And then you just quickly hit save, and you move on. So the next question I'm going to do, let's say this one I'm going to have is a multiple choice. And in this case, I'm going to also load in an image. And then I'm going to start answering my question. So my question was, how many Americans play video games regularly? Do I have any misspellings here? Yes, regularly. Okay, so I'm going to add in, let's say, 50 million, 75 million. I think there's probably a lot more than that. 150 million, and maybe I'll try another one, 200 million. So the correct answer is 150 million. And again, you can add in a feedback response if you want. I click save. And I could keep going, but I'll just do those two for now. So now that I have that, I can go into publish. So when you get into the publish screen, you have a few options. One is you could decide whether you want your URL to be private or not. And then you can decide which way you want to publish out the game. So in this case, I'm going to just simply publish it out by copying and pasting this link into a browser, and I'll show you the game that we built. Or, why that keeps stepping. Or you can choose to download one of these SCORM files. So let's take this. I'm going to put it up here into a new browser, and I'm going to open up the game that I just created, and there you go. And it's as simple as that. I'll just play it for 1 second so you can see what I created. Just skip through these instructions on how to play. And here you go. So let me just try and land on the platform with one of the questions. And there you go. The training arcade provides what? Fun, robust analytics, and a practice playground. Submit. So there you go. So I have just built the games for you, built the game and published it out. And let's say now, I'm going to go back to my analytics. Let's say that your learners have just been through one of your learnings and they've just played the game, and now you want to see how everybody performed. All you have to do is go up to analytics and you find the game that you're looking, or the game that you're looking to look at the analytics for. And there's a lot of things to see here. So, usually in SCORM, the kind of information that gets passed back is completion and their, overall score. But there's so much richer data that people want to see. So in this case, you're looking at player stats. You can see who the players are, how many sessions they played, which questions they got correct or incorrect. You could even click into each individual person and see, again, how many questions they got right, how many sessions, which questions they got correct or incorrect, how many attempts did it take them to get those questions correct. Or you could scroll down and actually see the question stats. Now this is where it gets really interesting, because this will give you a really good idea of where the gaps in your training might be. If you've got about 70% of the room who've completely missed a question or two, then you'll understand where you might need to reteach that information. The tool also allows you to do different things like custom date range. So if you want to compare different groups, you can. We're also going to be setting this up that eventually that you can set it up by, not just individuals, but by groups or teams, by geos, countries, etc. You can also export the data out to a CSV file if you want to share that with your colleagues. And another fun feature is you could actually set up other users to be admins just for viewer purposes, so they can actually log in and view the analytics rather than you having to show them a report. The last thing I want to show you now is the leaderboard. So the leaderboard function really gives you, who the top 10 players are, and of course you can click into deeper levels to find out. But if you're, let's say, in an instructor-led environment and you want to put the leaderboard up on the big screen so that your players in the room are actually competing against each other, and maybe there's some rewards or recognition, this is a really fun feature to have as well. So, with all of that said, I really hope you enjoyed learning about this. We do offer a free trial of the arcade if you want to get your hands on the tool itself to learn how easy it is to build them. So please reach out to, whoever invited you on this webinar. Thanks, everybody.
So, Jamie, we have a few questions for you about what you've demonstrated for us so far today.
Great.
The first question is, are the games accessible? Are they compliant?
Yeah, so the games are all web-based, so they can be accessed across every device, and they're also SCORM compliant, if that's the question that they were asking.
Okay. Another question is, are they responsive?
Yes, they are. So no matter what device you're on, if you're using desktop, laptops, mobile devices, tablets, they work on all of them.
Wonderful. Another question here is, can questions be uploaded from a document or an Excel sheet, or do they have to be manually plugged in the tool?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's one that we get a lot. It's something we've considered doing. We don't have that feature currently, but the reason why we haven't done it yet is because it's actually really simple to add your questions in manually. It's something that may come down the road, but it's not the way it works today.
Okay. Let me find a few others. There's more here. Oh, is it available in languages other than English?
Yes, it is actually. The backend allows you to stick the games or the questions in different languages into the question type itself. But if you needed the entire system to be recreated in another language, then that would be kind of a custom add-on.
Okay. As far as customizable parts of the games, you can change the background and the title. Can you change the character or the in-game background?
Yeah, it's a great question too. So the way it currently works is there's templates that are in there for you to choose from. If you wanted a custom game skin, we could either do that for you, or we could give you the specifications and your design team could create that yourself, and then we can load it in.
Okay. Talking about the leaderboard, where can users see the leaderboard? Where do they see that? And is it updated in real time?
So yeah, if the person who's creating the game chooses to click yes when it says, do you want the leaderboard to show on the game over screen, then when the player is done playing, they will see how they ranked on the game over screen on their own device. What they won't necessarily see is everybody. They'll see just their ranking against the top 10. If it was a live environment, then the instructor could put the leaderboard up on the big screen, and that could also be live.
Okay, we've had follow-up on the accessibility question. Are these games 508 compliant for those with disabilities?
They are not currently 508 compliant, but we are working towards getting that. We've had that request many times, and so it's something that we're trying to solve for. Okay, great. There's lots more questions. We have lots more information to share and show, so we'll take more questions later in the webinar. But thank you so much, Jamie, for your presentation. Great, thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Kirsten to talk to you guys about Motivate Cloud. Thanks, everyone.
Hi there, this is Kirsten. You should be able to see the Motivate Cloud platform there. I'm really excited to show it off. Before I jump into a demo, I wanted to share a little bit, kind of a fun fact that I learned recently. Did you all know that the average adult attention span is only 8 seconds? And just to put that in perspective, a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. So just to kind of orient all of us, what you're doing out there to educate and empower your people, it's not an easy task. And so with that in mind, I wanted to share a little bit of our philosophy about the Motivate Cloud platform and how we designed it in the first place. There's this really awesome Deloitte report called Meet the Modern Learner that has some really awesome facts in it. For example, that only 1% of a typical work week is devoted to training and development. And with that even being said, workers are interrupted every 5 minutes. So again, you've got an uphill battle to beat there when it comes to employee engagement. And we all know that millennials are here, they're changing the workforce, and by 2025, 75% of our workforce will be millennials, and it's only going to get worse because Gen Z is right around the corner, and they demand social interactions. So with that all being said, we really try to think about that philosophy in those situations when it comes to building the Motivate Cloud platform and our future roadmap. So the platform that we'll walk you through today, we intentionally designed it with no feature bloat, and because of that, it actually gets used. We use real-world gamification and integrated communications to drive employee engagement and to make sure that people actually have fun while they're in an LMS. Again, another thing that you wouldn't normally hear when you think about an LMS. So, awesome. That all being said, let's get to the demo. You should all be seeing the Motivate Cloud login page here. It is a mobile responsive SaaS platform. We can always hook you up with single sign-on as well. So in that case, you would never even see this page. You would be automatically authenticated into the platform. And now I am an admin user, so the first thing you're going to see here is the admin snapshot. It kind of gives you a health check of the platform. But for our purposes today, I'm going to start here and show you kind of a day in the life of a learner. Now here we are in the front learner dashboard. This is the very first thing that folks will see once they log in. And it was really, really important to us that it was one click to your first course. So here you can see I've got this widget up top, which is content that my admin has curated for me, so it can be a course or a resource or a news article. But I literally can click, I'm logged in, and it's going to start running this course for me here, which is a jump game. Since I had started before, I'm just going to start this over. And you can see here, this is a SCORM course. The platform here, you can have training courses that are Word documents, PowerPoints, pictures, links, videos, and of course, SCORM or tin can content. I'm going to pop back over here to the dashboard again. And again, some important things here about this dashboard is everything that I'm walking you through today in Motivate Cloud is configurable. We have a lot of our clients who say, we only need training and community, so we can turn on or off these different sections and turn on or off these different widgets here to make sure that it really feels like home. We also have the ability to turn features on or off depending on different subsets of your audience. So essentially, you can reduce that noise and make sure that no matter who your people are in their organization, they're only seeing what they need to see to be productive. And we built gamification mechanics into the platform to drive user engagement. So you're seeing here, currently I'm a level 1 rookie. I need 100 more coins to reach beginner level. You can customize the names of those games levels there, as well as users will earn coins by completing courses or by participating in the community section. And you as the admin get to determine, what is the number of coins rewarded per course, or even setting custom coin values for your individual courses. So you can see here too on my leaderboard where I'm currently sitting in my location, and that word is customizable, of course, so there's a lot of ways that we can organize your folks in the platform, essentially just to make sure that these are the names and faces of people I would want to go out there and be competitive with. And I think something else that's really important when we think about the user experience is that I may not know exactly where what I'm looking for lives in my LMS. And I always like to joke, but it's true that Google has ruined all of us. I expect today to be able to type in a keyword and find what I'm looking for. So our global search here at the top of Motivate Cloud will allow you to type in those keywords, and it's going to search throughout the entire platform, sorting it by all my results or by specific sections if I wanted to. As well as you can see here, I can search via people, and let's say I wanted to learn from Stephen because I think he's really smart. I can come in here and see all the community topics where Stephen has been posting, and I can even, go right to Stephen and click on his profile. Cool. So next up here is the training page. So this is where all of your training would live, whether that be online games or courses or my instructor-led training. And then down below here, we organize that by core curriculums. And then your curriculums are made up of course packs. So here I can see the different themes of training that I've got in my system, and I can click in here and see the individual courses themselves. Again, this can be a mix of online or in-person, as well as you can have supplemental or optional training as well. It doesn't all have to be required. And I know this might sound a little bit nerdy, but one of my favorite things about the transcript, the training page here is the transcript. And so I like to joke, but this, it is what it is. It kind of is that shame report. So you can see here, I got a 0% complete, so I've got a lot of work to do. But this is an awesome report for your learners to come in here and see high level how they're doing. And this report will, again, show you all of my training, but I can also have optional training as well, and I can see the results there too. So here I can see all the courses that I've currently got assigned to me, whether I have failed them, if I've attempted to take them, if I've been in progress, if I've started, if there's deadlines or prerequisites, you're going to see, that information here as well. And you're also noticing some intent here with that color coding. So failed in red, you're going to see that right away. You also have the ability here to download your transcripts or print these out, as well as once you get to the reporting section, you can access all of your team's transcripts from one place. A great feature for your managers who want to go in there and check and see how their folks are doing. Cool. So next up here is the community. So this is where learners can share best practices and also practice learning in a safe environment. And what's really wonderful about the community here too is this allows me to have all this learning in one place, creating a culture of continuous learning at your company. So you'll see here on my left-hand side, I can see who's following me, if I'm following any folks, any posts that I'm following, as well as I can see here in this central feed here what's currently trending in the community. I can also see here too that I can mark these community posts as helpful. I can comment. I can attach, photos, videos, or different files here and share information with my peers in the community. And I can follow these posts or follow other users. It's a great way for you to allow users to take advantage of learning moments that may be happening amongst their peers. So maybe Jamie and I are sharing in the community, but then Stephen's able to log in and still take advantage of that learning moment by seeing here, even if he's just lurking. So if I'm now following Kim, for example, I'm now going to receive email notifications anytime Kim posts in the community. And same thing if I were to follow a topic as well. And in those email notifications, it'll have a button, which if you click, it'll take you not just right back into Motivate Cloud, but directly into that topic, ready to post again. Again, anywhere we can reduce clicks, we are all about it. Awesome. So next up here would be the resources section. So this is where you can have supplemental material. Think of it can be a great place for job aids or policy documents or just external links. So resources here can be, again, MP4s, web, PDFs, PowerPoint, pictures, Word, Excel, you have it. You can create different categories here, but what's really important for DUI and how we designed this is that our clients demand a Netflix-like experience. So that, with that in mind, we have here the thumbnails and the lifestyle images that you as the admin get to configure yourself. But here you're also seeing that these are my personal most viewed resources, as well as resources here that have been recently added, or resources that other users have given those coins to and marked as helpful. Then if I were to click into a resource category here, there is a lot of flexibility on how you can organize this information. So you can see here I've got some different subcategories here for the different type of games that I've made as resource categories. And what's really cool too is that on the back end, you can assign these categories out to different teams. So for example, if you wanted to push information only to a subset of your users, you can assign it only to those teams. And again, Motivate Cloud will reduce that noise and only show your learners what they need to see to be productive. And by the way, that's how the entire platform works, not just resources. So whether that's in training, community, or resources, news, or rewards, you're able to customize your content and make sure that it's only going out to the right people. All right, so next up here is the news. This is that integrated communications component where you can create different news articles and push out content to your learners. So these can be external news articles that you just want to put into the platform to reduce their clicks, or you can create news articles and link them to new content. So if you create a new course and you really want to put that in lights, a great way to do so is to create a news article, link directly to that course, and if you really want to go the extra mile, I always recommend pulling that into that front spotlight widget so that way it's right in their face and you're pulling users to that content. All right, and of course rewards. This is where you can take those coins and turn them into real prizes, which is always fun. Everyone loves to earn things. But here you can see they can be intangible too. For example, maybe it's just one extra day off. So they can be real prizes or whatever's best for you. And here you can see that these rewards have been configured based on coin redemption. On the back end, as in the administrator, you get to determine what is the criteria that users need to redeem for this reward. So that can be based off of coin completion, coin redemption, completion of a course pack, or participating in a community topic. So if you really want to force folks to do all three of those activities, you can even do all three. So you can do a combination or whatever is best for you. We hear a lot from our clients that, wow, we did not have a budget for rewards, and that's totally okay too. We actually recommend having a smaller budget for your rewards too, because when you have a smaller budget and a smaller inventory, you're creating scarcity. And again, on the back end, you're able to say, I only have 100 t-shirts, and then users on the front end will see that percentage of redemption going up. So then they are motivated to get up to speed and be more productive faster as they want to go out there and compete with their peers. Now, the next section here, reporting, I would only see this if I had reporting permissions. So what's wonderful about this is you can assign out a reporting permission to a user without giving them any access to the backend, and you can make sure that they're only going to see the users that roll up to them. So, of course, great use case for your managers, so they can come in here and see their user logins and maybe click on one of the training completion reports where they can sort by all curriculums, everyone in the organization. You can see here there's a lot of data in this report, so it might take a second to filter there. Or you can go back to my favorite report, the transcript report. Here I can see all of my folks high level here, but I can also click on these arrows and see specifically where Kim is. And again, now you're seeing some more of that color coding here. She's still in the red, but I can see here that she does have one curriculum that she's gotten up to orange. That's going to change up to green once she gets closer to that 100%. Some other fun things here on the learner side too, of course, in addition to our whole slew of email notifications to pull users back in, you're also going to have fun things like the bell notifications here. You can see that I've earned a badge. We've got these little Easter eggs throughout the platform here where learners can come in here and unlock these different badges for different milestones. Awesome. So now that's kind of given you the nickel tour of the learner side, I want to show a little bit about the admin experience because, again, going back to our philosophy, we have to reduce the clicks everywhere we can, and that means for you guys too. So here I am in the back end of Motivate Cloud, and I'm going to show you what it's like to upload an online course. So I'm going to go into the backend here of training and go to courses, and I'm going to add an online course. Again, you're seeing here the modalities that we support, and again, it's tin can compatible as well. And I'm going to upload the SCORM file of the game that Jamie just made for us. And here I can add my title for my course, give it a description, add in the additional details, add a course code, preview my course here. I can also start categorizing this for my learners. So let's say it should take them about 5 minutes. It's going to be an interactive course. I want it to be available on their mobile devices. We just give you that option as an admin in case, let's say, you wanted to upload an hour-long video. You may not want that on their mobile devices so that it doesn't affect their data. But here I can click on adding a thumbnail. And as well, you can publish these in advance. If you know that you need to push out a new course next week, but you're going on vacation, you can do so ahead of time. You'll also see here that I have the ability to award a custom coin value, as well as you can turn on or off learner reviews and email notifications at the course level. And of course, we have deadlines and compliance here, so I can choose, by which day that they need to complete this training, and if they are compliant, or if there's a compliance window, how long is that compliance window active for, and when do they need to retake it? And then, are there any relevant resources? So I know I've got some awesome resources here about jumps. I'm going to add these resources. Maybe I want to have the overview should display first. And then finally, we've woven in that community feature here into the training and resources section. So anytime I upload content, it's going to ask me here at the end, do I want to create a community topic? And I can tie it to existing topics, not provide topics, or create a brand new topic. And again, anytime you're uploading content on the back end of Motivate Cloud, it's going to be this easy, walking you through a wizard step by step. So finish, add this course. And here Motivate Cloud is going to ask me, do I want to keep adding courses, or do I want to assign it to a course pack, which is what I'm going to do right now, so we can see what this looks like. All right. So I'm going to come in and find my course here, and maybe I want to mark this one as supplemental, and I'm going to click Save. And before we go back to the learner side here, let's say, while I'm back here, I also want to turn off that reward section. So I can come over here to Settings and go to Layout. As I mentioned earlier, it's super, super easy to customize the look of your dashboard. Maybe I want to turn off the community and put resource categories on the front end. And then I want to come into the navigation bar and turn off rewards. Maybe I want to rename the community Collaboration. Click Save, and now if we go back to my learner view here, we'll see the changes that I've made. So now the community is named Collaboration. I've lost that reward section here, and if I go to the training, I will have a new course. You're seeing it's got one course, one supplemental, meaning 2 total. And here's the course that we just uploaded. And that's how easy it is to use Motivate Cloud. All right. So, Andrew, I don't know if we have any questions for me about the platform, if there's anywhere else that I can take everybody today.
There's quite a few questions about both Motivate Cloud and the Training Arcade. One for Motivate Cloud is this an equivalent alternative to other software such as Adobe Prime?
Yeah, so Adobe Prime, I believe, has a webinar component. Our platform is agnostic, so you can use whatever webinar tool you would like. You'll just embed that share link. But at the end of the day, we are still an LMS. It is a learning management system, but we've built it hopefully intentionally with the ability for you to turn on or off what's really relevant for you.
Another question is, with a license to a marketplace or the Motivate Cloud, does it provide unlimited access to users, or are you limited in that way?
No, we do not have a limit on how many users you can load into the platform. It's just a matter of your contract and what's best for you. But no, there's no limit to the amount of users or content that you upload. There's no limit on bandwidth, so please go for it.
Okay, excellent. Great. Looks like that's all the questions about Motivate Cloud that we have right now. So I will go ahead and take the screen back and put some information up, but we do have some more questions about the training arcade if anyone would like to take those questions. Let me get this up here. Okay. Exporting your game once it's created, let's say you export SCORM in the game, is that an embedded object so you can put it into Lectora as an embedded object, or is it just a link to the game outside of your course?
So the games are web links that can be embedded as a web object if you're going to be putting them directly into a course that you've been building with Captivate or Lectora, one of those. If you want the games to go directly into your LMS, then you can export it as a SCORM file.
Okay, excellent. Okay, here's another question for Motivate Cloud. Do I need to be a member in motivatecloud.com in order to have access to the main menu?
Yes, you would need to be able to be a user just because of the security of the platform, as well as the reporting, making sure that if you are going in there, if you're reporting a course, that you show up on the report. So yes, you would need to be a user.
Okay. Another question for Motivate Cloud. Can the platform be rebranded to reflect our company logo, colors, style?
Yes, absolutely. That's so important. So we can completely white label the platform. They need never know of the name Motivate Cloud. So we can customize the looks and feel, the branding, whether or not certain areas of the platform show up for certain users, and we can customize the logos based off of your different groups of users too. So if you say wanted to have a North America logo versus a Europe logo, we can have different logos depending on your audiences, all from within one platform.
Excellent. And let's see, Motivate Cloud have a native app. How do you track ILT attendance within that platform?
Yeah, so it does not have a native app. It is a mobile responsive SaaS product, so you just access it through a web URL. And then for ILT tracking, your instructors are able to access the back end, and then they can go in and mark attendance. And then our feature works with where you can say, whether they passed, if they failed, or if they were a no-show, so that way you have good intelligence and can have good follow-up conversations.
Excellent, excellent. There was another question from the Training Arcade. If you have multiple clients and you make one game, can you make the leaderboard only visible to certain clients, or do you have to make 3 separate games?
So if you are a company who has multiple clients, you typically would set up a separate subdomain for each of your clients so that their data and all their games live on separate URLs. Okay,
excellent. Again, back to 508 compliance. Motivate Cloud, is that platform accessible that way? Is it accessible with full keyboard navigation, screen reader friendly?
We are today not ADA compliant.
Okay, excellent. There's more questions coming in. What we'll do, we always have more questions than time. What we'd like to do is allow you guys to continue this conversation after the webinar. There's information up on the screen. You can call eLearning Brothers 801-796-2767. Check us out at elearningbrothers.com. Go to info@elearningbrothers.com. You can also go and visit the Game Agency at thegameagency.com. Where can people learn more about Motivate Cloud?
They can also learn about it from the Game Agency's website or just going directly to motivatecloud.com.
Excellent. So that's where you can go and get more information. Send email to info@elearningbrothers.com if you have a very specific question. We're happy to work with our friends at Game Agency to get you the answer that you need. Also, just a quick plug, for the first time ever this year, eLearning Brothers is hosting a conference, ELBX, that's going to come up on June 11th here in Salt Lake City. So it'll be really exciting. We hope you guys will come and visit us there. Thank you, everybody, for this awesome webinar. Thank you, Jamie, Kirsten, Stephen, and Brittany in the questions panel. We're very happy to have you here. And just a reminder, we will get an email out to everyone that has registered for this webinar with links to useful information about both the Training Arcade, Motivate Cloud, eLearning Brothers products and software. We'll also get you a copy of this recording. And you're always welcome to send us your questions. We want to make sure that you know everything you want to know about these awesome and exciting games and platforms. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Everyone.